Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Bass Coast Shire Council meeting Wednesday, the 8th of October 2025. Could I ask a mobile phone reminder? Please turn off all mobile telephones, or in the case of an emergency, please advise the chair and switch to silent mode. We acknowledge the Bunurong as the traditional owners and custodians of the lands and waters and pay respect to their elders past, present and emerging. I'm now going to hand over to Councillor Bell to read the councillor statement, please.
All members of this council pledge to the Bass Coast Shire community to consider every item listed on this agenda based on the individual merits of each item without bias or prejudice, by maintaining an open mind and disregarding councillors' personal interests so as to avoid any conflict with our public duty. Any councillor having a conflict of interest in an item will make a proper prior disclosure to the meeting and will not participate in the debate or vote on the issue.
Thank you, Councillor Bell. Item 1 is present and apologies. We have no apologies today, although we do have Councillor Thompson online from a hospital bed. So thanks for joining us today, Councillor Thompson. Declarations of interest. Do we have any? I haven't had any reported, so we'll move on to item 3, confirmation of minutes of the council meeting held on the 17th of September 2025. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Tassari, a seconder. Councillor Edwards, thank you. Is there anyone against? I would declare that carried. Thank you, councillors. Item 4 are Mayor and Councillor reports, which we usually just put in the council minutes, but today we will have Councillor Bauer who wishes to read from his report. To you, Councillor Bauer. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, fellow councillors and ratepayers watching this meeting, especially fellow islanders and Adrian Trout, John's son, who is sitting in the gallery today. John Trout was born on the 31st of January 1941 in Melbourne. He began his career at Kodak and as an apprentice mechanical engineer moved to World Services Proprietary Limited, where he worked on oil refineries and gas plants worldwide with his engineering skills. He met and married a New Zealand nurse, Therese Rogers, in the 1960s and had 2 children, Adrian and Judy, also in the 60s. The Trouts enjoyed many holidays on Phillip Island and eventually bought a house at Surf Beach in the 80s. They renovated the house and made it their forever home. Tragically, Therese died shortly after the house was finished. John always took a keen interest in the affairs of the island. John was a member of the Phillip Island Progress Group, which is standalone, that morphed into Island Voice. He was also a member of the Bass Coast Ratepayers Association, the CRG Reference Group, and to top it off, a member of the local branch of the ALP. His experience with large corporation financial balance sheets naturally drew his eyes to look at the affairs of Bass Coast Shire. He was a regular attendee at council meetings. He put the council quarterly reports under the microscope and constant questions the workings of council. He was a fierce advocate for the local issues and wasn't afraid to heckle from the gallery. At one meeting, he even went so far to be escorted from the gallery by the local constabulary. That was quite an afternoon. John has to be respected because he wasn't just talk. He walked the walk. He stood for the 2024 council election. John suffered health issues and in later life. We stopped seeing him at meetings and when his diabetes and cancer became too much. On a personal level, John was quite a character. Ever since I decided to stand for council in 2017, he was sitting in the gallery with his cohorts, Peter McMahon and Graham Jolly. As a councillor, he would always keep it to account. Somehow, council meetings will never be the same. The following was printed in the Advertiser and summed him up well. John was an intelligent and principled person. Oh, did I mention he loved Johnny Walker Black label? Next time I'm at the Cowes RSL, I will raise a glass to you. To Anne, Wilma, Adrian, Judith, and her family, our deepest sympathies. John, rest in peace. And now I'm going to break the code and offer to you, Adrian, from all of us, a bottle of Black Label to drink at his funeral.
Rest in peace, John.
Fail, John.
Certainly will miss him in our council chamber, Councillor Bauer. Thank you for that lovely veil.
Thoughts with you.
Yeah. Item 5 on the agenda is public question time. We do allow for questioners to put their questions personally if they would like to. I'm not aware of anyone who has put their hand up to ask their questions, so I will read the questions out and Mr. Box will answer them. Question 1 is from Darren Murphy. Topic: dust suppression. In your August 2013 minutes, Beach Street Rill is listed as having received a dust suppression seal in 2005-06. It received funding for a new spray seal via the Roads to Recovery program in 2016. Why can't our roads be fixed with funds from this program?
Through the Mayor, the section of Beach Street Rill between Walton Street and Waterloo Street was resealed as part of the resealing program in 2016. At that time, the road met the resealing criteria due to the high performance of the pavement and seal components. Council's current approach to permanently sealing urban roads is via its Urban Roads and Drainage Improvement Policy. The Federal Roads to Recovery program is a recurrent funding program. Council utilises this funding to source and subsidise Council's non-discretionary capital program.
Question 2, Graham Jolly. Topic: carnival land in Cowes. Landcare are progressively planting native vegetation on the carnival land in Cowes. Would Council please provide a design copy of the planting plan Landcare have been instructed to use for the site?
Through the Mayor, a copy of the plan will be placed on the Engage Bass Coast page for the Sporting Precinct project.
Question 3, Bill Wilson. Topic: battery installation. How much is it going to cost Council to have a battery installed into the Cowes Cultural and Community Centre so that the power can be used after the power meter of the building when the grid is not operational?
Through the Mayor, the battery at Bernanite is being installed and managed by Mondo at no cost to Council.
Question 4, Ernie Westergaard. Topic: red lighting at Bernanite. Would Council please confirm the actual cost for the supply and installation of the red display lights that lights up a front wall to the Cowes Cultural and Community Centre at night, as it is the belief the cost was greater than $38,000?
Through the Mayor, the total cost of supply for permanent programmable weatherproof lighting, including installation, was $24,442.
And Mr. Box, if I can ask, that can also be lit up in other colours, is that correct?
Yes, it's programmable at all times.
Yeah, great. Question 5, Graham Jolly. Topic: grants. State and federal politicians continually inform for development of Hilton Chadwick Reserve and adjoining land, in brackets the projects. Council must have projects shovel-ready, designs and full costing for grants. How many individual projects are shovel-ready at the 8th of October that are available and submitted to governments seeking grants?
Through the Mayor, as of the 8th of October, Council has 7 grant applications submitted and pending decision with the state or federal government. These pending applications are with the Commonwealth Road Safety Program, Regional Partnerships and Precincts Program, Safer Local Roads Infrastructure Program, and 2 each with the Federal Black Spots Program and TAC Road Safety Program. The applications support various projects, including the revitalisation of the former Wonthaggi Secondary College site precinct, Stewart Road Kernot Bridge, and traffic calming in Settlement Road, Cowes.
Question 6, Mario Boffa. Topic: project overview, Mars Landing, Stage 2 civil works. Please provide a progress overview report to Project 100993, ex grant VFA Open Space, Mars Landing, Stage 2 civil works that's underway with a total overall cost of $1,423,027.
Through the Mayor, the Stage 2 works, which include the new toilet block, car park upgrade and boardwalk ramp, have been completed. The total expenditure for this stage of the project to date is $1.85 million, with $1.7 million contributed from Better Boating Victoria and $150,000 from Council for the toilet block.
Question 7, Mario Boffa. Topic, Project Overview, Wren Road, Archies Creek Road. Please provide a progress overview report to Project 100798, Wren Road, Archies Creek Road, Archies Creek, that's underway for design with a total overall cost of $1,025,493.
Through the Mayor, the rehabilitation and widening of Archies Creek Road in Archies Creek were completed in May 2025, enabling the road to reopen for public use. While delays occurred due to supply chain issues, final completion, including installation of new signage, drainage improvements and line marking, is expected by the end of October 2025.
Question 8, John Kuzma. Topic, Project Overview, Wren Roads, RIL. Project 101022 for Wren Roads, RIL to Newhaven Road from Hastings Street to McPhee's Road is underway for design with an overall total cost of $88,583. What is the progress of this project as of today?
Through the Mayor, the design for the renewal of RIL Newhaven Road is complete and the works have been recently tendered. Construction is scheduled to commence in January 2026 and is expected to be completed by March 2026, subject to favourable weather and access to contractors and materials.
Question 9, John Kuzma. Topic, Project Overview, Min Plant Ek Public Art. Project 100383 for Min Plant Ek Public Art is complete for design with a total overall cost of $310,923. Please explain in details what this expenditure is for.
Through the Mayor, Project 100383 is the annual allocation for the public art with a council contribution of $50,000. The project is the delivery of a major public artwork for Wonthaggi to be situated at the Union Theatre and specifically inspired by the Wonthaggi Miners Women's Auxiliary. This project is co-funded by Council, receiving an external grant of $170,600 from the Victorian Women's Public Art Program.
Question 10 and our last one for today, Mr Box. Kevin Griffin. Topic, Rate Capping. Rate capping was introduced in 2016 to stop excessive and uncontrolled annual rate hikes by Victorian councils. Responding to public question 5.8 at its August meeting, Council advised that it has not resolved an advocacy position on rate capping. When will this council resolve its position on rate capping?
Through the Mayor, Council does not have an endorsed position on rate capping and does not have plans to develop one at this stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Box. I would like to add that many of our questions request fairly straightforward information, much of which is available on the Engage Bass Coast website. Engage Bass Coast is our platform for informing our community about projects, and I would encourage people to get online and see where projects are progressing in their community. It's a much faster way of getting your information than waiting for a council meeting to do so. 7.1, petition to reinstate the Lord's Prayer. Is the head petitioner present at the moment in the gallery? And would you like to speak? Karen, I now invite you to introduce your petition. Under our governance rules, you have up to 3 minutes to introduce your petition and must only speak to the contents of the petition. Councillors, there is to be no debate or discussion with the petitioner. Thank you, Karen. Go ahead.
Thank you for having me here, councillors, Mayor, for having me here to speak to the petition on behalf of 194 signatures. I had to stop collecting signatures in order to get it in, but other people have said I would have signed that. So the petitions, before I start, I think I'll start with the Lord's Prayer. So it's a very simple prayer. It doesn't preclude anyone. It is for everyone. It's seeking blessing, it's seeking wisdom from God, and it's offering forgiveness, and it's also acknowledging the source of our moral law, which is eternal. So we'll start. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and may we forgive those who trespass or sin against us as those May we forgive those who sin against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory. In your holy name, amen. So the information in this petition goes like this. This petition of certain citizens of the Bass Coast Shire draws to the attention of the Bass Coast Shire Mayor and councillors the error of removing the Lord's Prayer from the order of business at council meetings since 2014. The petitioners therefore request that the Lord's Prayer is reinstated as a reading at the commencement of proceedings of Bass Coast council meetings as soon as possible. The Lord's Prayer is a strong reminder that local government is not the ultimate authority for building a just and caring society, and this unfortunate move to secularise council proceedings did send a clear message that faith has no place in the community. Since 1857, the Lord's Prayer has been a long-standing part of the formal processes of both houses of the Victorian Parliament, the Legislative Assembly, which is the lower house, and the Legislative Council, which is the upper house. The merit of saying the Lord's Prayer is the action of publicly acknowledging the responsibility one has to the people they are serving. The petitioners therefore request that the Bass Coast Shire Mayor and councillors recognise the valuable role of the Lord's Prayer in Parliament and ensure its practice continues to play an integral part of our democratic tradition. These signatures don't just come from churches, they come from the community. I did go around the streets of Wonthaggi into businesses, into offices, into factories. People were pleased to sign the petition, pass it round and said, I know people here who would be happy to sign that, and they certainly were happy to sign it.
Sorry, Karen, but I've gone 10 seconds over the 3 minutes. So what I need to do now is, councillors, you have a recommendation in front of you. Do I have a mover for that recommendation? Councillor Bauer. Do I have a seconder? Councillor O'Brien. Councillor Bauer, do you wish to speak?
Yes, I do, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, fellow councillors and ratepayers watching this meeting, I refer to point 2 of the resolution to resolve to continue its current practice of opening council meetings with a councillor's statement. I acknowledge Ms Thorpe's words in support of the petition, but I cannot state strongly enough how against the petition I am. This is a multicultural country. There are 1,500 religions and belief systems on the planet. Each one is relevant as the next, including atheism. I do not see why we should privilege one above the other. The most ecumenical solution is not to introduce any non-secular prayer, chants, or divitations. In 1650s, philosopher John Locke introduced the concept of separation of church and state. Let's leave the prayers and praying in the church and concentrate on the business of council in council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bauer. Councillor O'Brien, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Yeah, look, I too, I'm very opposed to this. Australia is a secular country, and we only need to look at the last census, where only 43% of Australians identified themselves as Christian. We've got multiple religions being practiced, all in touch with the choir invisible. I grew up a Catholic. I can do the full Latin Mass enchilada if you like, but now, like many Australians, the majority of Australians, I've got as much religion as a cat, and I take issue with a lot of the things, in this petition. I've got no doubt that the petitioners were sincere, but publicly using the Lord's Prayer to publicly acknowledging the responsibility one has to the people they are serving is eyewash. Look, I can go through this line by line and pull it apart, and I actually think that what drives this petition, and I'm sorry to say this, Karen, but it feels to me like it's just making mischief, because this thing creates division outside of the chamber. And look, I'm just really opposed to, and I feel it's just a waste of time that we're even considering it.
Thank you, Councillor O'Brien. Does any other councillor wish to speak against? No. I'd like to thank you, Ms Thorpe, for bringing your petition to council. I'm now going to put that to the vote. All those in favour of the recommendation as is before you, councillors? All those against? That's carried, thank you.
Call for a division, please.
Calling for a division. All those in favour? Councillor Temby, Councillor Tassari, Councillor Halstead, Councillor Bauer, Councillor Morgan, Councillor O'Brien, Councillor Bell. All those against? Oh, I'm sorry, and Councillor Thompson. Sorry, Councillor Thompson. Didn't you want me to go through that again? Okay, sorry. So we got you there, Councillor Thompson. My apologies. And all those against? Councillor Edwards. That's still carried. Thank you. Moving to, thank you, Ms Thorpe. You're welcome to take your seat in the gallery. We now move to item 8, reports requiring council decision. 8.1 is the Community Vision 2045, Council Plan 2025 to 2029 and Annual Action Plan 2025 to 2026. Mr Dillon to introduce the report, please.
Thank you, and through the Mayor. This report recommends adoption of the Community Vision, Council Plan and Annual Action Plan. The Community Vision and Council Plan represent the community and council's aspirations for the next 4 years. Developed over 3 rounds of community consultation and in partnership with Council, the final Council Plan before you today includes all 11 priorities recommended by the Community Panel and priorities identified through broad community engagement. The Council Plan 2025 to 2029 is built around 4 strategic objectives: naturally beautiful, thriving places, vibrant communities and visionary leadership. The Community Vision 2045 has been updated to include coastal woodlands, reflecting this council's strong desire to protect our unique environment. The Annual Action Plan details how Council will work towards achieving these objectives and includes 27 actions to be completed this financial year. These reports represent a unified effort by community, council and staff, and I am pleased to present them to you today. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr Dillon. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bell, and a seconder? Councillor Temby. Would you like to introduce Councillor Bell?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I think the team has done a great job of ensuring that the council vision flows into the council plan, which flows into the yearly action plan, and the themes can clearly be seen through these 3 documents. I wanted to thank the deliberative engagement panel. I think, have we got some? Yeah, yes, thank you for the significant time and thoughtfulness that they all contributed to the priorities that are set out in the council plan. And also thank you to the wider community that added their feedback in the past month. I think overall the drafts were broadly supported, and especially with that addition of the coastal woodlands. So I'm really happy to endorse this plan today. I just wanted to point out a couple of things in the annual action plan that I'm really looking forward to seeing the Phillip Island Recreation Reserve prepared in this coming annual action plan so that we're shovel ready for when all those grants come pouring in. And the Cow Streetscape is obviously underway, and so we're looking forward to seeing a great result for the town in a year or so, let's hope. I'm also glad to see that the design of a First Nations framework is also on the annual action plan, stemming from a priority of the deliberative engagement panel to recognise Bunurong culture. Admittedly, this feels a little overdue, but better late than never. And similarly, the panel identified housing as a priority, and I'm glad to see an action in the plan to develop strategic partnerships with housing providers as we advocate to increase affordable housing.
Thank you, Councillor Bell. Councillor Temby?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councillor Bell has made a number of the comments that I would have made, so I endorse those. It's really important that we have longer term thinking and goals, and the Bass Coast Shire Council Vision Plan and associated action plan reflect the ongoing needs, aspirations of the Shire, and are encapsulated by our clear understanding of the values reflected in the vision of our rolling hills, coastal woodlands and wild coastlines. By doing this, we can all continue to live in a sustainable, enjoyable environment, and one that seeks to look after its residents, businesses and visitors. Congratulations to the multiple council teams who've collaborated with the community to achieve this outcome.
Thank you, Councillor Temby. Is there any other councillor that wishes to speak? Councillor Morgan?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I thought I'd just add that the Community Vision 2045 in particular is more than just words on paper, that it's the distilled voice of our community. It's residents, businesses, community groups, First Nations custodians and stakeholders. It's more about where we want Bass Coast to be in 20 years' time. The vision will help provide the long-term aspirations that guide council's planning and operations, and hopefully help align resources and decisions towards what our community values most. By endorsing the 2045 vision, we're committing to community empowerment and ownership. We commit to resilience for the future and the challenges we face: climate change, economic change, infrastructure demands. The vision compels us to think beyond election cycles and to plan for intergenerational outcomes. The vision also ensures that council's shorter term plans, like the Council Plan 2025 to 29, aren't just responsive, but they're strategic as well. As the youngest person to have ever sat in this chamber, I want to particularly thank those involved in this work and hope that this council will not only continue to respond to immediate pressures, but lead with purpose, guided by what the community aspires to be in the years and decades to come.
Thank you, Councillor Morgan. Is there any other councillor that wishes to add? Councillor O'Brien?
If I may, Madam Mayor, yeah, look, I think that as councillors, one of the most important objectives, that we have in here is to recognise that there is such a very long tail to our decision making, and having a really clear vision in front of us with identifiable key objectives is a way of protecting that long tail. And for me, of course, a lot of those protections are around, protection of character, protection of the woodlands, which are identified, within this vision. So I endorse the work of officers and also the work of council in engagement with officers, and also the work of the of engaging with the community to make sure that our priorities are aligned with their priorities. The closer we can be to community, the more effective we can be as councillors.
Thank you, Councillor O'Brien. Anything further, councillors? I'm just going to, before we put to the vote, these are pretty critical documents that, as Mayor, I think I need to say something about, so I've prepared something a little earlier. This is an ambitious council with a strong vision for Bass Coast, and it's no surprise that that ambition has found its way into our new council plan. I'm so pleased to see some of our community panels, members here with us today. You've played such an important role in shaping this plan. Over many hours of discussion and exploration, you showed a genuine commitment to understanding the complex challenges, and I know you understood those complex challenges facing local government, and the courage to share your vision for the future of Bass Coast. Your input has helped us create a plan that reflects the heart of our community, one that's aspirational, but also grounded in what matters to most of our people. Our focus now turns to delivery, and I will not use those words, Virginia, but you know the words that I'm referring to. The annual action plan outlines what we'll achieve over the next 12 months as we work towards our long-term goals. We'll continue to advocate for the protection of the Western Port woodlands, deliver a clean energy retrofit program, and complete a mid-term review of the Bass Coast Climate Change Action Plan. We'll progress the detailed design for the new Bass Coast Aquatic and Leisure Centre, start a review of the Bass Coast planning scheme, and finalise the Wonthaggi to Inverloch shared path, which will be such a fantastic connection for our community. We'll also prepare a functional layout plan for the Phillip Island Recreation Reserve, implement our public arts strategy, and co-design a First Nations framework, an important step in strengthening our connection to country and community. We'll review Council's rating strategy, and we will also continue to find ways to make it easier and simpler for our customers to engage with us. Like all local government areas, we face real challenges: rising costs, growing community expectations, and increasing financial pressures. Financial sustainability is one of the biggest challenges for councils right across Victoria. But here in Bass Coast, we're determined to meet that challenge with creativity and care. We'll continue to balance ambition with responsibility, making sure every dollar we invest delivers real, lasting value for our community. I want to take a moment to thank our incredible staff, who often cop a lot of flack out there in community, but have worked tirelessly to listen and respond to community feedback in developing this plan. I know as part of community engagement, the members that played a role in that were so grateful for the time that our officers offered to answer all of their questions during that process. And to my fellow councillors, thank you for your commitment, your collaboration, your shared focus on delivering the best outcomes for the people of Bass Coast, and your willingness to negotiate. Because together, these are our plans. These are the next 4 years, and I could not be prouder. This plan is about more than just projects and priorities. It's about our shared vision for the future, one that we can all be proud of. There might be a few little tweaks we make along the way, but that's okay. We can do that. So congratulations, councillors, congratulations, community, and congratulations, Mr. Box, to you and your team. Thank you. I guess I need to put it to the vote. We have to adopt them now, hopefully. So all those in favour of the recommendation? I've got you there, Jan, this time. Sorry, Councillor Thompson. And that's carried. Thank you, councillors.
Yeah.
Yay. Good to have that one put to bed after months of work, isn't it? 8.2, Quarterly Performance Report, Quarter 4, April to June 2025. Mr Dillon, to introduce the report, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I've also got Joe Kay, our Finance Manager, in the room, should there be any technical questions beyond my realm of expertise. The Quarterly Performance Report presents a summary of Council's performance for the year ending 30th of June 2025. This is the final report of the Annual Action Plan for 2024-2025 and the Council Plan 2021 to 2025. Of the 21 actions, 19 have been completed, with the remaining 2 actions not completed due to circumstances outside of Council's control. The report also provides an overview of Council's 2024-2025 financial performance. The results include an operating surplus of 9.8 million, a balanced funding statement, 28 million in capital works expenditure, and 4 of the 7 financial sustainability risk indicators returning to low risk results. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Dillon. Do I have a mover? Councillor Morgan and Councillor Tassari, only because you're on opposite sides of the chamber. I thought, sorry, Councillor Bell. So Councillor Morgan, we'll go to you.
Thanks very much, Madam Mayor. I'm sure we're on opposite sides of the chamber, but we're playing from the same playbook on this one. Let me start off by thanking the finance team and all of the staff at Bass Coast Shire Council for their work on this. This is the final product. You know, there's always a lot of reports and strategies, and I know folks want to see outcomes from their local councils. And I won't bang on about them all, but I guess here's a few of my favourite wins for the community. We've seen 1,810 street trees planted in townships. We've seen solar and battery systems installed in 8 community facilities. We've seen adoption of the circular economic framework and adoption of the integrated transport strategy. There are more items, of course, and these are all a testament to the dedication of our staff and the competence of the administration, neither of whom get nearly enough appreciation compared to us ribbon cutters, and the goodwill of our community who contribute the feedback, volunteer hours and stay engaged. The quarterly report isn't just about short-term measures, but actually linking back to our Council Plan 25 to 29 that we just passed and the Community Vision 2045. The progress in this report is what I would describe as a health check on where we are and whether we're on course. Each action, each metric, each variance should be judged by whether it helps move us towards the community's long-term aspirations for sustainability, connectivity, livability, resilience, and identity. There's always more to be done, but I'm very proud of this report, and with that, I'll hand over the call.
Thank you, Councillor Morgan. Councillor Tassari?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I love speaking after Councillor Morgan because he's so articulate and doesn't miss much, so there's not a whole lot to add. But I too would like to congratulate Joe and David and the whole team on the work that you guys have done. It's never easy sitting down with us and working through these things and to get to a solution that we are all happy with. I'm very, very proud of the work that everyone has done to put this report forward, and I echo the words very strongly of Councillor Morgan. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Tassari. Do any other councillors wish to add? Councillor Bell?
Yeah, I just wanted to echo the thanks for the team. And yeah, it's been a big quarter, and I have a couple of highlights as well that I wanted to point out. The trees, like Councillor Morgan said, there's a bunch of trees that have gone in along Settlement Road, which is great, going to be great shade for the students coming and going from Cowes Primary. And I wanted to let the team here know that I've already heard great feedback about them. The solar and battery systems and the circular economy framework reiterate our commitment, council commitment to climate action. The Free from Violence project, although it's marked as complete and it did deliver some great programs, I think it should remain on the radar, and if we can get that work to continue. The delivery of the arts and culture strategy, I feel, is going exceptionally in my experience of the excellent programming at WCAC and Bernanite. And of course our award-winning Berries Beach Road. I also just wanted to highlight that our strategic planning department has done excellent work on the Bass Coast housing strategy and the neighbourhood character study, and it's probably a little bit of a shame to see that the implementation of those is being held up.
Thank you, Councillor Bell. Any other? Councillor Temby?
A very brief one. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Without going into the detail that's already been discussed, and I support, I see the quarterly report as demonstrating good governance and good progress, and well done to all involved who've put it together and have achieved those outcomes that we were.
Thank you, Councillor Temby. Anything further from other councillors? I might just add that when you start listing those things, Councillor Bell, it just goes to show how much work is actually going on that we often don't see. It's all happening behind the scenes. So it's great to have you mention those projects, and they're only at the tip of the iceberg. So well done. With that, councillors, I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? That's carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 8.3, the annual financial report and performance statement 2024 to 2025. And Mr. Dillon has the floor again.
Thank you. And through the Mayor, this report recommends approval of the annual financial and performance statements representing Council's financial position and performance for the year ending 30th of June 2025. Council's annual financial statement includes the comprehensive income statement reflecting 9.8 million surplus, 6.6 million favourable to budget. This result is influenced favourably by the recognition of 6 million in unbudgeted developer contributions, delivery and recognition of 7.4 million of unbudgeted capital grants, and the 4.6 million early receipt of the financial assistance grant, 50% of the 2025-2026 allocation. This, however, has been offset by unfavourable to budget expenditure, including depreciation of 5.1 million more than budgeted due to higher network infrastructure asset revaluations and 3.2 million cost of settlement payments for the Cemetery Services transfer. For Council's performance statement, it includes an improvement in unrestricted cash, increasing from -9% to 37%, an improved working capital ratio, increasing from 137% to 171%, and an increased expenses per property assessment of 9% in response to the increase in depreciation and the settlement payment for the Cemetery Services transfer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Dillon. Do I have a mover? Going, Councillor Morgan. And a seconder? Councillor Edwards. Wish to introduce Councillor Morgan?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Without going into too much detail about the finances line by line, let me just thank the finance team again. We're fighting against the tide in local governments all across Victoria, and I think if you go through the pages of this report, you'll see some people doing some very impressive work with not a lot of money. And as that money dries up from the state government, let me, in the spirit of the squeaky wheel getting the oil, reiterate that we need the state government to come to the table and help us fund our major projects to deliver for our community in the future.
Good point. Thanks, Councillor Morgan. Councillor Edwards?
I'd just like to agree with Councillor Morgan there. We do need those projects funded. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Edwards. Anyone else wish to speak? Councillor Bauer?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, fellow councillors and ratepayers watching this meeting. I need some help in understanding parts of this report, Mr Dillon. The Shire received 123.7 million revenue compared to the 103.5 million budgeted. That means the Shire received 20.2 million more than anticipated. The report acknowledges that 10.3 million more was spent than budgeted, page 28. 113.9 million expenditure, 13.6 million more than the budget. The Shire received an additional income of 20 million minus the additional 10.3 million expenditure, leaves a balance of 6.3 million. Where did the money go? If you could.
Thank you, Councillor Bauer. Yes, Joe?
Through the Mayor. The 6.6 million favourable surplus has resulted in unbudgeted reserve transfers. These were 4.6 million in the VGC grant received in advance reserve, 780,000 to the interest reserves for the Wonthaggi North East Developer Contribution Plan and the Resort Recreation Reserve, with the balance returned to the Strategic Works Reserve.
Thank you for that answer. I'm also concerned that the borrowings have jumped by 5.9 million to 29.2 million. Though I've been assured by the officers this figure is still within the margin of safety, increasing borrowings needs to be watched with caution in the future. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Bauer. Is there any other councillor that wishes to speak? Councillor Tassari?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Again, well done to Joe and the team. I have the honour of sitting on the Risk and Audit Committee with the Mayor, and they are much smarter at this stuff than, well, certainly myself, Madam Mayor. I won't put you in that same category. They go over this with a fine-tooth comb. They are very, very happy with the figures that are there. The external auditors gave it a double thumbs up at the last meeting. Vargo have given it a double thumbs up. So I couldn't be happier with the reports that we get and the work that's done. And it always makes me laugh We talked about the borrowings, Councillor Bauer, but it'll be you that'll put your hand up and want something done on the island, and it's got to be funded somehow. So it's us that keep putting forward the projects. It's us that keep pushing the expenditure up on behalf of our community. It's got to be funded somehow, and our rate dollar only goes so far. So well done to your team. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tassari. Does any other councillor wish to add? Councillor O'Brien.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. If I can come in behind Councillor Tassari's comments there, I think, look, with really complex budgets like this, and most of us here sitting in council being part-time or, sometimes full-time, sometimes part, I mean, we rely on those external bodies like our auditors, and rely on good information back from the CEO and from the staff. And I do believe we get that. And as far as I can see as a councillor sitting here making decisions and putting a hand up, that if we can go to the external auditors and get a double thumbs up, well, that's pretty rock solid as far as I'm concerned. And so thanks again to the team here. I know there's a lot of agreement about and disagreement about where the funds go, but it's a competitive market in this room. It's competitive between wards and between councillors, and I think that balancing act is done quite well.
Fantastic. Thanks, Councillor O'Brien. Nothing further, councillors. We'll put that to the vote, will we? All those in favour? That's carried. Thank you. Moving to item 9, statutory reports, of which we have nil. Item 10, urgent business. There is none, unless councillors are going to surprise me somewhere there. And so we'll go to the announcement of the next council meeting, which will be held on the 15th of October. That's next week at Burn and Eat, Cows, commencing at 1 p.m. Members of the public may now join councillors for an informal chat. Thank you for watching the live stream on Council's meeting. The meeting will now be closed at 1:50 p.m. Thank you.